The latest news, national issues, the political scene, and conversations with prominent personalities. All these firsthand at the forefront. Good morning. On behalf of Attorney Karen Jimeno, I'm Gerg Cahiles. Our very own BNC anchor, Attorney Karen Jimeno, is now in The Hague for the 80th birthday celebration of former President Rodrigo Duterte. Attorney Jimeno is now in The Hague, again, in the Netherlands for the birthday of the former president who is currently detained there because of the cases he's facing before the ICC. Now let's watch this video of her first day at The Hague.
Ano pong plano niyo sa birthday ni former President Duterte?
Pipiknik kami doon sa labas ng detention center. Magdala po ng food to share. May maglilechon nga daw eh.
Nung Sunday daw, marami yung crowd.
Opo. Mga 6,000 something. Opo, ang dami po talaga. Galing sa iba't ibang panig ng Europa.
Ilang days na kayong pumupunta sa ICC?
Well, I think it's my 5 times already.
5 times already?
Yeah. 5 times.
So you go every
Almost every
morning,
Yeah.
tapos up to what time?
4 o'clock?
Up
4 or
to
5.
from what time?
Mga 11.
11 ng umaga. Tapos nandun lang po kayo sa labas.
Watch out for more of the latest happenings at The Hague here at the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Ingat kayo dyan, Attorney Karen. Now moving on to our main discussion this morning, the Directors Guild of the Philippines has expressed deep concern over the removal of Baby Ruth Villarama's documentary, Food Delivery Fresh from the West Philippine Sea, from the recent CinePanalo Film Festival, citing it as a clear act of censorship. This move has reignited fears over suppression of artistic expression. What does this incident reveal about the state of free speech and artistic freedom in the Philippines today? Are there unseen hands in film censorship amidst uncertain national and geopolitical situation of these times? Joining us this morning live at the BNC studio is a multi-awarded and commercially lauded film director, the president of the Directors Guild of the Philippines, Mark Maley. Good morning, Direct Mark.
Hi, good morning.
All right, first off, let's talk about the film.
Yeah.
Have you seen it, and what is it about?
No, I have not seen the film because it's supposed to premiere last time during the film festival. And of course, they had to pull it out at the last minute, 2 days before the scheduled premiere. And but I know Baby Ruth. I am following her. I know her crew, her team, and nag-updatean kami when they were filming. So there'd be times when I couldn't get in touch with her because she's in the middle of the West Philippine Sea.
Okay, but napanood nyo at least yung trailer po.
Yeah,
No? What is it about?
It's basically the harassment of the should I name the entity? No.
Well, anyway, it's in the West Philippine Sea.
Yeah, in the West Philippine Sea. But filmed from the point of view of the fishermen, the people whose livelihood are at stake, the stakeholders, the immediate stakeholders of that one. Before naman wala namang harassment, and now they're being prevented from doing that. They're prevented from the basic thing, fishing, di ba? Yun yung nung explanation yung UNCLOS law that it should not stop anyone from exercising yung economic gaining the economics of what we own.
You said earlier that you were in touch with Baby Ruth during the production, filming of this documentary.
Yeah.
How was it like? Anong sinasabi niya? How passionate is she about this film?
See Baby Ruth, knowing her for the past so many years, she's so she's the fighter. Siya yung nag-ano nung identity of the Filipino. So for example, yung documentary niya Sunday Beauty Queen, and of course now it's all about Filipino identity and parang discovering that we are bigger than what people tell us we are. So yung concern niya here now, it's not just the economic threat, but more importantly, if we are losing slowly our identity, slowly eradicating yung culture. No, we are an archipelago, and yet, a foreign country wants us to stop doing that, stop being a Filipino, stop being an archipelago.
But Direk, how difficult it is to make a film like this, a documentary like this?
I have high regard for documentary filmmakers, and that is why siguro I take the easy way out as a feature film director. Although I do direct documentaries as well. But something like this is very risky. You never know what's going to happen. In fact, when we were discussing the details of the Eddie Garcia law, yung working hours, nahihirapan kami. What is the working hour of a documentary filmmaker? Wala eh. And even the insurance, even the risk of they cannot protect you because you're out there in the West Philippine Sea, an area with great conflict. Hindi mo hindi mo alam what's gonna happen next. And then the pay, of course, is not as rewarding. And lalo na yung fame, walang great fame or stardom that you get making documentaries. But what's interesting is that documentary films tell the story of truth. So it's about what is really happening now. Kami nga, as most feature film directors, we talk about fiction, we talk about stories, narratives that we created. But a documentary does not even have a script. It just has a topic, it has bullet points, and then bahala na what we shoot. And then you'll be surprised that they are creating a more compelling story.
Is that the reason why documentary films are more prone to censorship?
I guess it's always because there is a very I wouldn't say comment, no, but or an adage, pero ang expectation ng Pilipino is that kailangan balance palagi, no? Even the news or a documentary is not supposed to be balanced. A documentary is supposed to represent a point of view. So, yung movie, for example, na Rashomon, isang murder mystery, pero told from different points of view, mag-iiba yung view nila ng truth. So that is a documentary. A documentary will show you, this is one side of truth na hindi natin nakikita palagi, as compared to, it does not need to be balanced. What's important is what is not seen na pwede natin i-highlight.
Let's go back to food delivery po, Direk. Siyempre, it's supposedly part of CinePanalo.
Yeah.
No? And normally po ba, itong bago i-ere o bago i-premiere yung mga pelikula na part ng isang film festival, nire-review na po ba yan ng MTRCB?
Yes.
Okay.
The food delivery actually was approved by the MTRCB. So it wasn't censored or anything, or given an X rating or for adult rating by the MTRCB. All films actually that will be screened in public cinemas are always shown on or need to pass through the MTRCB. It is the festival organizers. And in fact, it is the CinePanalo, the food delivery is a grant. It was actually the CinePanalo who gave the grant to Baby Ruth for this film to produce the film. So it was very surprising why it had to be pulled out.
Oh, I've read it's 3 million pesos per film.
Yeah.
Is that big for a grant?
For a documentary, well, for a documentary, it's okay. It's about the average. It's the average cost of a documentary film. The problem with documentary films is it doesn't have a specific time frame. It could take a year. It could take. Of course, this one has to be finished before the film festival, which Baby Ruth accomplished. And in fact, ano sila? So there are rumors that were talked about wherein palalabasin na baka hindi niya natapos. No, she completed the film.
But, well, talking about Baby Ruth po, no? After the film was pulled out from the film festival, nakausap niyo ba siya?
Yeah.
What did she say? Well, although merong reason na binigay, no? Sabi it was a mutual decision. What was really behind that?
There were people, basically, sabi nila external forces.
Ano nga ba yung external forces na yan? Kasi...
External forces will always be people who said, because CinePanalo is a film festival sponsored or financed by Pure Gold.
Yes.
Pure Gold, or at least the owners, are Filipino-Chinese, I guess. And ano yan, hindi to sapilitan. Okay. These are tawag nga namin soft power eh. Parang pakiusap to. But you know that pag hindi mo pinagbigyan ng pakiusap, hindi na siya soft power. Hard power na yung pwedeng mangyari.
Nakakatakot yung ganung pakiusap direct.
So, and then, in fairness to the festival organizers, they approve this. They chose this. So hindi sila yung may gusto na hindi siya ipalabas.
Okay, so yung external factor na pinag-uusapan natin dito is nasa end ng festival, hindi kay Baby Ruth or hindi sa government.
Yes, at this point hindi sa government. That external factor is that pakiusap na please do not show this film. You have to also look at the events because the announcement or the information, the request for Baby Ruth to pull out the film happened a day before the arrest of former President Duterte. Where did President Rodrigo Duterte came from? What was he trying to... We don't know. But parang, if you try to connect if this film, the concept of this film has been approved last year, and then suddenly something happened last March 11, and then March 12, they got the announcement that, we don't want to sensationalize or make a small issue big. So to prevent that, iwas tayo sa controversy.
Pero buti for a filmmaker na very very passionate about her work to give up easily or batay ba sa kwento niya, how was it? Paano ba nagkaroon ng negotiations pa ba ito?
They were trying to find a way out.
Okay.
To explain to the public why this film is being pulled out, and they were reasons, na possible reasons. These are valid reasons, if it were true. But sabi ni Baby Ruth, I made this film for the Filipinos. And I want it to be seen first by the Filipinos. So, you have, there are reasons na lumalabas now because they want to, the festival organizers want to show this film in an international film festival. If it were true or if it's valid. But sabi kasi in any major film festival abroad, it has to premiere internationally. So, they're saying that they want this to be shown abroad because the world has to see this film, etc. Except that it should not be seen. Except that we don't want it to be seen in this film festival in CinePanalo. And
Which is weird, no?
which is weird because inano mo na yun eh. And then there's no guarantee that it's gonna be accepted by any film festival abroad, di ba? So you cannot target that and you cannot give that reason. Di ba nakakaya kung sabi, no, because we're applying for a film festival and for a world, and then nobody accepts it.
Yeah.
And then again, this film is about the Philippines and about Filipinos. So sabi ni Baby Ruth, my audience are the Filipinos.
Direct Mark, yung DGPI, it came out with a very strong statement regarding this. We're talking about censorship.
Yeah.
So, paano po siya nagiging censorship sa pananaw po ng mga direct?
What is scary is for the past year alone, ang nagiging target, and I mean, it's not just one person. Of course, these are groups of people na ayaw nilang mapag-usapan yung katotohanan. So for the past year, it's not even a year eh. 3 documentary films, Alipato at Moog, Los Sabongeros, and now Food Delivery. Yung Alipato at Moog, they were aired, they were allowed to air, they were given permission by the MTRCB, but the original rating of a documentary about yung mga desaparecidos, no, and Jonas Burgos was given an X rating. Diba? A documentary about yung mga people being summarily killed or disappeared is given an X rating. How do you explain that, diba? And of course, I don't know. After so much protest and so much, and there were groups of the family of Jonas Burgos. They went in front of the MTRCB, and then they re-reviewed it. You know, every time a film is reviewed, they had to pay a board fee for
The filmmaker?
The filmmaker has
Wow.
the producer has to pay.
How much, sir, if you don't mind?
7,000 pesos
Okay.
for a doc. And then if you appeal for a second review, I think it's gonna be increased. I'm not so sure, but that's another at least 7,000 pesos. Parang ganun. On the second, and of course after the controversy and the media coverage of it. They gave it an R16, I think, na rating, di ba? But can you imagine a documentary on disappearance?
Subversive daw, sabi nung MTRC get
Diba?
first, di ba?
It's not even, parang ang ina-analyze, they were looking for balance. They were looking, why didn't you interview so and so? And, uy, kawawa naman this military people, they were not interviewed. Of course, they will not be allowed to be interviewed there. And then the second one was Los Sabongeros. Ito naman, the documentary was already aired on a shorter version the year before, but it was on TV. So when the filmmakers came up with a longer version, because they realized they have a good material for that, enough material for that. When it was part of the CineMalaya, all of a sudden there's a security threat in the venue. Of course, this one they will never give details on what that security threat, but it's a threat enough. Para bang it will be irresponsible for the organizers to screen a film na merong security threat. So it was not allowed to screen. So it was a delaying tactic. Eventually, the Los Sabongeros, although it aired on television year before, it was featured again on a different film festival.
So, may nakikita kayong trend.
Yes.
Okay.
Oo. And look at what's happening. If there are certain political and geopolitical events happening, people do not want another one that would fuel the fire of that controversy. So with all of these very, very controversial topics for documentaries, there's a term in filmmaking where you just give the people entertainment, but that is not the purpose of documentary film. In filmmaking itself, diba? It's supposed to to show you the truth. And ang pinaka-direct na nagpapakita ng truth is our documentary films. So, with what's happening right now, not only in the Philippines but all over the world, you will see a lot more censorship or, people preventing other people from telling the truth. So that's very concerning. Kasi parang, it's not even looking for balance eh. With the rise of fake news happening na hindi sila nakokontrol, hindi sila nasa-censor, di ba? Hindi sila they're not responsible for that. And then the people who are the honest filmmakers, the honest storytellers, they're the ones being gagged from telling the truth.
So are you saying that these censorships are politically driven?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Kasi it's about control or losing control, or at least the perception of control nawawala or na-threaten.
Tingnan naman natin direct itong other side kasi there was a time that a Chinese film, Chasing Tuna, I'm not sure if you were able to see that, it was given, it was not allowed to be shown here in the Philippines just because mayroong part doon na pinakita yung 9-dash line na claim naman ng China sa West Philippine Sea. So, how do you look at that naman?
Well, I don't know who stopped it from.
It's the MTRCB, sir.
Okay, so yeah. So again, it's their decision, and I'm not gonna argue with that kasi parang that is their perception of truth, probably the filmmakers. Pero let's go to something more parang mababaw eh. Parang ang natin palagi is when you show a documentary, you have to think, what will the audience think? How will they react? So, for example, in the movie Barbie, meron line na sinulat na mapa that Barbie was showing, and they were saying, oh, that's the line, that's line. And then there's this animated feature that showed in a map the 9-dash line. No? These are, I guess, counter-propaganda. But the thing is, will the audience know that, di ba? Ako naman, I am for freedom of expression.
Yes.
As Directors Guild of the Philippines, we are we will fight for freedom of expression. We agree that I might not agree with your point of view, but every time you say you gag somebody just because of their point of view, mali na yon.
So, you mean, parang justifiable ba yung ginawa ng MTRCB sa Chasing Tuna, or sana na-cure, pwede siyang i-cure, like what happened to Barbie, as you mentioned?
I don't know the intent because I haven't seen the film eh. Every reviewer of the MTRCB would have their own reasons. And I'm not saying they're wrong. Sometimes they're right. I might not agree with them.
Yes.
But yun yung point of view nila. But of course, I'm not gonna fight for that. No? There's another film though na naging controversial, yung movie na Airplane. Plane ni Gerard Butler. You know, it's an action movie, and then I was reprimanded by the Honorable Senator Robin Padilla.
Yes.
Because we came up with a statement, and then sabi niya parang, it's portraying the province of Jolo, na ang pronunciation pa nga na Jolo in the movie, as a place where crime is rampant and there's no peace and order, which is fiction.
Yes.
Which is actually, sabi nga nung governor of Jolo, when he was asked about it, he laughed. Sabi niya, that's fiction. Go to my province and see how beautiful Jolo is. Of course. So again, I am on the side of Senator Padilla. I am on the side of the people from BARM. What we are not agreeing is that just because I don't agree with what you're saying, I want to gag you. 'di ba? I want to put something in your mouth and cover it and huwag ka lang magsalita, 'di ba? Mali naman 'yon, 'di ba?
So that's censorship, no?
That's censorship.
But now, let's talk about that idea, yung censorship. Ano po ba yung mga dahilan? What are the reasons behind censorship pagdating sa film industry?
Censorship, you have to realize, has evolved. Over 100 years na siya. Of course, film censorship is new, no? Or media or the video censorship is new. But the thing is, what the MTRCB is not supposed to be doing, and they know this, they're not supposed to be censoring, meaning they're not supposed to be stopping or preventing or cutting scenes. No, before, when I would review my films sa MTRCB, they will always comment, this scene is very, there's this scene that it's very controversial. They will point out to you, and it's up to you if you want to cut it out or not. Now, they will not even tell you why.
Ang ganun ba yun?
Oo, so, minsan, you will find out ano yung reason na parang,
From an insider.
So, hindi mo ngayon alam kung how will I, and, of course, of course, meron kasing level of yung moral standards
Yes.
nag-iiba yan per culture. Iba tayo
Per
sa
individual,
France.
yes.
But especially now, what I want to emphasize is that the Filipinos are more intelligent now. The Filipinos know already what is bastos, what is obscene, and what is not. Diba? And even for my children, diba? So it is not for the government to tell the parents, your children should not be watching this. It should be the parent who should know, no, my child is mature enough to watch a film like this. If he or she has a question, then I will explain it to her on certain topics. Of course, we're not even talking about pornography here. We're just talking about, content, diba? Certain topics. Kaya na natin i-supervise yung children natin eh. So hindi tayo grade school na kailangan. Sabi ng gobyerno, dapat ganito, ganyan.
But how about religion, Direk? Kasi, syempre, in a country that is majority are Catholics or kahit hindi Katoliko, other religious beliefs. Paano siya nagpe-play sa censorship?
Very interesting kasi yung even the in the early 2000s, during the term of President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo, the current FDCP chair, si Joey Reyes, directed a film called Live Show, which was on the original Board of Reviewers ng MTRCB. It passed sa movie houses. And then there was a clamor from the Catholic Church to pull it out. So now, after it has been showing in cinemas, they were trying to pull it out. So parang ano yung level of yung integrity nung board nung time na yon. So the head of the board at that time, si Nick Chongson, resigned from the MTRCB kasi he did not agree with the pressure at that time coming from the Catholic Church. Now again, the Catholic Church is, I wouldn't say tolerable even because the Catholic Church trusts its people.
Yeah.
Na alam na natin kung ano yung mali Alam na natin kung ano yung drugs. Alam na natin kung ano yung obscene. Di ba? Then the Catholic Church trusts us better. So hindi na ganung, even the Catholic Church hindi na nakikialam. Di ba? I mean, a topic about homosexuality will not even be talked about.
Yes.
In a film, not even and they were portrayed that parang, it's just a joke. So we had the Roderick Paulate films, and then of course later the Vice Ganda films. Even the Dolphy films, they were, homosexuality was a joke at that time.
Yeah.
But now it's a serious and parang now people understand, homosexuals are people, they are us. They are one among us. So hindi mo hindi mo pwedeng joke lang yan or bastos yan, di ba? So we have to realize that the Filipinos have evolved, and we can regulate the content that we want to see.
All right. So if a local film is censored and not allowed to be shown in cinemas, what other platforms cater to censored or suppressed films? But Direk, before you answer this, at the forefront, we'll return after a short break. Welcome back at the forefront. If a local film is not or censored and not allowed to be shown in cinemas, Direk, what other platforms that cater to those films?
Right now, we have the OTT or over-the-top platforms. These are the video streaming sites, and actually, slowly, the video streaming is now the mainstream.
Okay.
There are more people watching online content, so there's always that. It is not covered yet by the MTRCB, but there are bills right now in the Senate that wants to include online content to be regulated by the MTRCB, which of course, obviously, is impossible. But what is more important is we want to ask, and I'm not saying they're wrong. We still need a body that would regulate content, but parang is the MTRCB as we know it now relevant? Considering that since we already know what is good or bad, can we practice a form of self-censorship, or at least MTRCB need not be a government entity, but rather composed of viewers or reviewers who belong to the film industry, who understands storytelling, who understands films, which is what is actually happening in the United States, which is what's happening in Korea. So all of these progressive countries who have very progressive cinemas are regulate the content of the films that come out from them are regulated, or they are self-regulated. They are regulated by people from the industry. They're not composed of lawyers.
Oh, but Direk, you made several points here. Sabi mo, there are bills wherein MTRCB wants to include in their regulatory power some streaming platforms. Pero sabi mo nga, dapat mas mag-reflect tayo kung relevant pa ba yung MTRCB in the first place. And if there's a need for the MTRCB to be removed from the government side and instead create a body that will look at the materials, no? Na magkakasama-sama yung nasa industry mismo at hindi yung mga abogado.
Yeah.
So, what does that mean? I mean, are you calling for the abolition of the MTRCB?
No.
Okay. All right, sige. Can you clarify
No,
that? Can you clarify that, sir?
Friends ko sila. No. I'll give you a great example. The advertising industry, which is pouring in billions of revenue to our economy, they have a body called the Advertising Standards Council. Every 30-second, 15-second commercial that you see on television, on print, or even the billboards, you will see their ASC number. No? These are regulated by individuals. These are reviewed by individuals who come from the advertising industry. And they have their own standards. Hindi naman porket they own the industry, magiging corrupt na sila. So they've been doing that for so long, for at least more than 30 years na yan. But of course they changed their name in different years, no. But the ASC, the advertising industry, is regulating itself. And that's why pag merong may nakakalusot, it happens, Pero it's pulled out right away. And then, of course, there are sanctions to the advertisers. So, it is that level of maturity and understanding. Kasi if you are a reviewer from, I don't know, I'm not gonna name names, but if you are from the, whatever, music industry, if you are from law, and I'm not dismissing them, di ba? Of course, we need points of...
different perspectives. Ano?
Different perspectives. But we're not giving them an award. A film is not being given an award. O, tingnan naman natin yung merit ng working class Filipinos. We are looking at a material, di ba? If I am going to give a flight plan of an airplane traveling from one point to one point, I need a pilot, somebody who understands, who within the civil aviation or the aviation industry, to give me the guidelines. Di ba? It cannot be guided, and I'm not dismissing them. It cannot be given guidelines by a lawyer who has not done a film, okay, who has not told a story in public, even, di ba?
So it can be a collaborative effort siguro, no? Well, the industry can nominate individuals.
In the past, for example, during the term of Chairperson Armida Sigionreina, there were people, even Senator Grace Poe used to be the chair of the MTRCB. So may
balance.
May balance Okay. Pero siyempre, right now, and even with this new bill that the Senate wants, the government wants to extend the powers of the regulatory powers of the MTRCB, they want to regulate online content. Meaning, yung papanoorin mo na Facebook post, na YouTube content, has to be regulated by the MTRCB. It is impossible. YouTube alone gets 500 hours per minute of content. So how can a group of 20 reviewers, 30 reviewers from the MTRCB regulate that? Ang sabi lang flagging system, but they already have YouTube, Facebook, Netflix have their own flagging systems. And they're using AI already. So makakita lang dyan ng image that looks like a human breast, nafa-flag na yan. Di ba? So if the technology companies, are already leading the way on how to regulate their content, di ba? What is the power of MTRCB to do that?
I'm just wondering, Direk, what are the dangers in case na mapasa tong bills na ito? What are the dangers to the industry kapag pati yung mga streaming platforms, mga videos sa social media ay i-regulate din ng MTRCB?
One of the biggest dangers there is, sabi nila in the provision or in the bill that they want to push, is that content that I watch privately, and meaning any content that can be seen or that can be accessed using the internet, should be considered public content, even if it's not shown in the public, di ba? So if I watch a film, birthday party nung anak ko na pinost ko sa Facebook, panonoorin, i-regulate ng ano. And then, para mo sinasabi, no, this topic is too controversial for you. You're a 35, 45-year-old housewife, you're not allowed to watch that. Or, so, para bang, anything that is for their moral standard, offensive or obscene, they can stop it from being screened in the Philippines. So I had this discussion one time. Sabi nila, meron daw nakakalusot na films na merong portrayal of sex and nudity. Sabi ko, which one? Sa streaming platforms like Netflix. Sabi ko, no, I don't think so. Sabi no, if you have a VPN, and then you watch a content in France, sabi ko, wala na tayong pakialam doon, di ba? Parang why and why are we so bothered that this person who I know, parang I don't care what what he does during his private time. Diba? Much as the content that he watches or absorbs during his private
Pero bakit
private
nga ba?
time.
Bakit nga ba sila masyadong interesado?
Hindi, kasi parang there's this yung bumababa na daw yung ating moral standards, di ba? But again, parang ano yung definition natin ng moral standard? Ano yung definition natin ng what is obscene and what is not? Di ba? If the things that are okay now and the topics that we discuss now are okay, and they're not 20, 30 years ago, why are we so afraid that people will know about them later on? Diba? So that's a scary part because somebody else want to impose their
Belief system.
on you.
Yeah.
Na parang no, but hindi eh, di ba? What is obscene for someone might not be obscene for me. Di ba?
Pero sa bahagi naman ng mga filmmakers, how can you make sure that yung historical importance ng isang bagay ay or yung credibility, yung historical credibility ng kanilang mga ginagawa ay magiging consistent sila doon. Kasi 'di ba may mga questions na you have a different perspective. Yung binabanggit mo kanina. Pero what if hindi ito yung alam natin sa history? Paano nag-a-adjust yung filmmakers doon? Or do you have to?
Hindi, kasi again, andyan yung issue of historical revisionism. Okay. There are topics minsan na intentionally nire-revise. Okay. Actually, there's the point is that we know of one point of view. For example, the case of Juan Luna and his wife, no?
Yes.
Si Papas Pardo de Tabera. Yung ano nila, no? Yung crime scene na yon. We've only seen one point of view of that, no? Na pinalalabas nila on a fit of rage, of anger. Luna killed his wife and his mother-in-law, diba? And then he was eventually through the French courts, because it's a crime of passion, he was acquitted. Actually, maraming perspectives yon. And what really happened? What really happened? So parang what's interesting is how come we're not looking at all of these perspectives, diba? And I think you can even be a more intelligent nation if we talk about it and we discuss it. So in historical films, I want it would be more important to show perspectives. Okay, now there is such a thing as cinematic license, no? That the director would make something more interesting cinematically, no? I've done, for example, a film called El Presidente, which is about the life of Emilio Aguinaldo, where certain battle scenes had to be more cinematic because the actual battle scenes during the Philippine Revolution are actually boring. Hindi siya action-packed eh.
Yeah.
I've heard of scenes pa nga na, they have to take a break because kakain sila ng lunch. This is in the middle of a battle. Di ba? So, si Aguinaldo, kailangan mag-stop kasi pinaplansya pa yung uniform niya bago siya lumaban sa battle. Can you imagine? But these are not cinematically interesting.
Yeah.
So then you take, of course, creative license and make
It's
it more
interesting but not cinematically
Yes.
interesting. But, Direk, natanong ko rin yan because of the Pepsi Paloma film na ginagawa ni Direk Daryl.
Yes.
Daryl Yap. So, kayo ba, tingnan nyo ba yung nangyari dito as a form of censorship din?
No.
Why?
Because the controversy that happened with Direk Daryl Yap's film came about because of the teaser trailer that he released.
Okay.
Personally, and this is just my opinion, I think there was malice na sinensationalize yung yung topic. Okay? And it's not about the film. Honestly, I haven't talked to Direk Daryl, but I think he has it's not what it seems. I think, I don't want to make a judgment, or I have not seen the film, but I think hindi yun yung lumalabas sa trailer is not his intent. Ang problema, inuna nilang i-release yung trailer. If he had just probably changed the title, make it less controversial, and just showed the film as it is, it would not have been, at least it is not yet. No? Kasi ngayon, meron ng prejudice yung film eh. What was the problem was with the teaser trailer portrayed. Na naging sensationalized, na naging controversial. And then, of course, now it's leading to a lawsuit.
And you think it was really the intention of that teaser? To be sensational, para pag-usapan.
So, sa amin, sa mga filmmakers, hindi na namin yun eh. Nasa marketing department na siya ng
I'm just wondering po, Direk, no? Kasi sabi mo, you haven't talked to Direk Daryl about it. Isn't he a member of DGPI? Sir?
No, he's not a member of the DGPI.
Bakit, sir?
The Directors Guild kasi is not an organization where we accept applicants. Normally, it's always you have to be invited to become a member, and then so somebody has to nominate you to become a member, and then we talked about it on who gets to become a member or not. Of course, may mga qualifications. You're supposed to do at least 2 feature films before you even get invited, and at least, of course, yung quality, of course, the films that you make. So far, nobody has nominated Direk Daryl Yap.
That's interesting. Why? Ilan bang miyembro ng DGPI, sir?
We are, I think, for now, 113, but we will soon be more than 120 or 130.
So out of 120 individuals, no one nominated Direk Daryl. And I don't know. Sabi mo nga, meron namang mga rason. And every director has a reason kung bakit nila nominate yung isang individual to join your organization.
Right.
Pero all in all, just to give us a picture, no, ano bang ginagawa ng DGPI para...
The Directors Guild of the Philippines, we're very proud kasi we have at least about 6 national artists in our roster of members. And basically, what we are is an organization that banners the protection and the freedoms of expression. So we will fight any law or any policy or any attempt to curtail those freedoms, yung freedom of expression.
You mentioned national artists. Sino ba itong mga national artists?
Well, we have Kidlat Tahimik, we have Eddie Romero, we have Marilu Diaz-Abaya, we have... Naku, makakagalitan ako ng mga members pag hindi ko maalala.
May mga broka ba, sir?
Of course, yes, sorry. Lino Broca. How can I forget? Ishmael Bernal. They are all members. And I believe,
Hindi naman siya recitation, pero I'm sure pagbibigyan ka naman ng mga member mo. But, sir, you said you are defending the rights of your members.
Yeah.
So, how about non-members?
No. Is it not? Sorry. Let me correct that. We are defending the rights of all directors. Except that, for example, if a member is in a controversy like food delivery, then we are behind them or we are in front of them to protest, to rally for their cause. In fact, last year, a prominent member, si Jade Castro, was jailed for an accusation for arson, which was totally in Quezon, di ba? Which was scary, parang And the scary fact is that they did this because they didn't know that Jade Castro is a prominent film director, di ba? So if they can do that to somebody like Jade Castro, you can imagine what's happening right now. You know, the practice of law enforcement is questionable in certain areas. Especially, kawawa are the people who have no resources.
Si Baby Ruth, member ng DGPI.
She's a member of the
Alright,
DGPI.
sige. Well, with your statement about food delivery, can you give us an insight with more than 100 members?
Yeah.
Paano kayo nagka-come up with such statement? Ano ba yun? Kailangan may approval ng entire
Well,
membership?
we have a board of directors.
Okay.
We have a group of board of directors, and we talked about every topic. There are a lot of topics. There are a lot of cases that are brought to us, and then they were asked direct, what are we going to do about this? And then sometimes, kasi we are not, we don't have police powers. Of course, we don't even have yung legal powers, no? And of course, lalo na pag may mga cases of criminal and or cases about a certain lawsuit, we let the law take over kasi hindi naman na ano
It's
yun.
beyond your control.
It's beyond our control, di ba? Pero para bang if it affects especially yung ano yung the freedoms of and basically the practice of being a filmmaker. I'm very proud that the DGPI has been instrumental, has been very active in helping the putting the details and being part of that tripartite committee with regards to the Eddie Garcia law and the PCIDA, the Philippine Creative Industries Development Act.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, sir, I'm interested. Kamusta yung working relationship nyo with the MTRCB and the Film Development Council of the Philippines?
The Film Development Council of the Philippines is now headed by Jose Javier Reyes, Joey, who is a very active member of the Directors Guild of the Philippines. The Film Academy of the Philippines is now headed by Paulo Villaluna, who's also, in fact, the former president of the Directors Guild of the Philippines. So we're very, very active. One of the current members of the DGPI, one of the current members of the MTRCB, in fact, is Tony Reyes, who is also once a president of the Directors Guild of the Philippines. So they are friends. We have many friends. But
That's
sometimes,
good to hear.
yung beliefs nyo, hindi lang nagkakasabay or hindi nagtutugma. But we talk about it.
But Direk, before I let you go, as a filmmaker, multi-awarded filmmaker, syempre maraming interesadong mga bata ngayon in school, sa mga film schools, sa universities. Ano yung ma-advise mo sa kanila in terms of filmmaking, siguro in general, and sa issue nitong censorship, etc.?
You know, and this advice is not only for aspiring filmmakers, but it's for anyone aspiring to be anyone, aspiring to change the world. Learn to tell stories. You realize it, that the greatest people in the world are not generals or military tacticians.
Yeah.
The greatest people, the people who changed the world, from Jesus Christ, from Muhammad, from William Shakespeare, from Aristotle, from Moses, these are all storytellers. They changed the world because they told stories. And I think if you learn how to tell a story, kasi ang problema parang we just, once upon a time, and then we always look for the moral lesson. Storytelling is not about that. And there are so many levels and so many facets of storytelling. We learn that, we become better, not only storytellers, but or filmmakers, but we become better lawyers, better leaders. Yeah.
Very well said. Let us tell stories. So on that note, thank you very much, Direk Mark, for joining us this morning. Now, the impact of censorship extends far beyond the filmmakers it silences. It's affecting the very fabric of society's freedom of expression. When stories are suppressed, the public is denied the opportunity to engage in critical thinking and deeply understanding the realities faced by marginalized groups. In a thriving democracy and free-thinking society, protecting creative voices is essential to fostering informed dialogue, cultural growth, and the pursuit of truth. Be timely informed, be insightful of the news, always stay at the forefront. Join us again tomorrow for meaningful conversations that would help you form an objective personal opinion. On behalf of Attorney Karen Jimeno, I am Gerg Cahiles. Thank you for spending your hour with us.